Does my aggressive strategy still work in Texas? I've been here a week now, and I'm starting to wonder. These players have seen my hands. They know how I play. So, how do I adjust and still maximize profit? Today, I'm breaking down the exact changes that I made to stay one step ahead, even in these Texas games. So let's jump into the sessions.
Bet it on me, let it ride. Broke white boy, put it all on the line. Lucky me, lit the Sin City on fire. Money on the floor, watch it double 10 times. Bet it on me, let it ride.
Hey guys, second week in Houston and we're playing more stream games. You ready for it? Let's go. First session here, we're playing 136 at Champions. First hand, tow truck opens to $50, TX calls, ATM calls. We look down at Jack 10 offsuit on the straddle and we are coming along. Forwards to the flop of 9-8-3 with 2 spades. Pretty good flop. We have an open-ended straight draw. Check all the way to tow trucks who bet $125. ATM calls, we have a good draw. We are coming along. 3 ways to a turn which comes a jack of clubs. Now hit the top pair with an open-ended straight draw. Interestingly, ATM lists $500 into $578. We have the top pair, we have an open-end draw, we gotta call, right? But wait, what is his range? When he calls on the flop and donk on a nut-changing turn, what does it mean? Would he be flatting jacks pre? No. Would he be raising his sets on the flop? Yes. So he just doesn't have sets here. I don't think a 2 pairs here is betting this big, so our hand looks pretty. But actually, we are pretty drawing that against Queen 10. I fold the top pair and an open-ended straight draw right now. Tow trucks folds too, and you guys look at what ATM's got. So second hand here. Duke opened to $30 in early position. He is a very nice man. He enjoys the games. He always plays with laughters. But you know what? I'm going to 3-bet to 125 in the cutoff with ace-9 offsuit. Pretty light, but I think it's still good to isolate and play pots heads up. He calls heads up to a flop of King 10 rainbow. He checks it over in a 3-bet pot in position. I am just range betting small. I bet $75 and he calls. Turns a jack of diamonds. He check again. On this top card pairing board, I would like to put out a small bet again because some of his King X will be trapping the flop, and also straight gets there on the turn, so I would love to keep his weak hands here. And also if he raise, we just know he got trips or straights, we can fold our hand right away. But if he call, he just have weak hands, so I continue to bet 125 into 410. He calls, rivers a blank, the 6 of hearts. He checks again. I guess you know what I'm gonna do here. Yeah, when there's no brick walls, he got no trips, he got no straights, I can go as big as possible. And I bet $1,000 targeting to fold our hands like ace 10, queen 10, queen jack, and Duke folds. Big pot alert. Hello. In this hand, Tish opened to $20 under the gun. We look down at 9-6 of clubs on the button. We are on stream. I'm trying to play some interesting hands, so we call. But I think it's better than 3-bet actually. But anyway, West and TX on the blinds call too, so we're 4 ways to a flop of ace-7-4 with 3 clubs. Look at the sweet baby there. All the way check to us. I bet half pot, $40. And interestingly, West in the small blind makes it to 165. Other players get out of the way. I think it's close between 3-betting or calling. As I heard, he is an aggressive player. I don't want to get him off his bluffs. And I think his sets or 2 pairs will just continue to bet on the turn. So I put in a call, giving him a little bit more rope. Heads up to the turn which comes a deuce of hearts. And now he continues to bet $325. Still an easy call for us. And rivers and 8 of spades. Nothing really changed on this board. And now he bets $900. Ace high board is underbluffed. Monotones is underbluffed. Triple barrels are underbluffed. But you know, it is Texas. We are on stream. I'm not coming on stream to fold a flush, especially when I play 9-6 suited. I think he's still bluffing with King X with the King of clubs. So we put in a call and he shows Queen 5 of clubs. Come on, this is the penalty when you play 9-6 suited. Next hand here, the straddles on to $12. ATM on the button makes it to $55. Small blind calls. We look down at King Jack of Hearts in the middle blind. I squeeze to $300. Only ATM calls, so we're heads up to a flop of Queen 7-7 with 2 spades. 3-bet pot, out of position. I am just checking my range. We check and it checks back. Turns a 10 of club, giving us an open and straight draw. I would like to check again here. If he happened to have some bluffs, or when he bets small with his 10x, I am putting in the big boy check raise. But in game, he checks back again. Rivers a deuce of heart. So what is his range? When he checks back twice on the flop and on the turn, he never has a good hand. He never has a queen. He never has trips. So I would go really big here, targeting him to fold out showdown value hands like ace high or pocket pairs. I bet $800 into 673 and he folds. In this hand, Duke's open to $25 in the low jack, juicy calls on the cutoff, and we look at a King 9 on the button. Of course, we're raising it up. I make it to $150. Duke folds, juicy calls, heads up to a flop of Jack 10-5 rainbow. Juicy checks in a 3-bet pot in position. I am range betting small. I bet $100 and he calls. Turns a Jack of spades. He checks again. On this top card pairing turn, I would like to bet small again with my bluffs because I would love him to raise hands like Jack X and still continue his weak hands like 10x. So I bet $175 into 535 and he calls. River's a king of clubs. When he checks it over again, our plans gotta change. My original plan was to go huge on the river, folding out his 10x, but now we hit the top pair. So I changed the plan from going huge, now we gotta bet small, targeting the same hands that we want to fold out. So I bet $300 into 885. He tanks and tanks and finally puts in a call with 10-7 of diamonds, and we take down a sweet little pot. Remember, King 9 is the best. So next hand here, straddles on to $12. Duke opens to $35 on the button, ATM and juicy call on the blinds, and we are on the big blind with King 3 suited. Normally I would just call here, but in this configuration, Duke is gonna open wide on the button. ATM and juicy is capped because they're calling on their blinds, not 3-betting. So with the dead money inside, I would like to make a move here. I squeeze with King 3 suited to $200. And interestingly, Duke puts in a mini 4-bet to $365. When we are facing a mean raise, nah, I'm just calling any two. So we're in there, heads up to a flop which comes ace 4-3 with 2 hearts. We check it over and he checks back. Turns a queen of hearts, completing the frontal flush. So what is his range? I think he could be checking back the flop with very strong hands like pocket aces, but also he can have pocket kings, pocket queens, or pocket jacks. So I check it over and he checks back again. River's a 10 of hearts, making it a 4 flush board. So now I don't think he has pocket aces, I don't think he has pocket queens because those hands will start betting the turn. So what hands are we afraid of if we want to bluff here? Pocket kings with a heart and pocket jacks with a heart. But also, there are still many combos of kings and jacks without a heart. So I think I misplayed this. I could just bet here, targeting kings and jacks without a heart to fold. But I missed it in game and I check it over. He checks back and show pocket 10s. Second last hand of this session, straddles on to $25. Mo opens to 75 on the button. We call on the straddle with King X of clubs. Heads up to a flop of 9-8-4 rainbow. We check it over and he bets $90 into 185. This half pot size bets more like a range bet to me. We have a pair, so I put in a call. Turns an ace of hearts. We check and he checks back. River's a 10 of club. I think it's pretty thin to go for value here. Hands like pocket 6s, pocket 7s are not calling. So we check, and surprisingly he overbets for $550 into 365. What is his range? It's not the last time that he has the need button. So I think he is underbluffed here. He can have hands like pocket 10s, some queen jack completing the straight on the river. So I like to fold here and look what he got. He got 7-6 of spades. He made the straight on the river. Alright, last hand of this session. Straddles on to $12. ATM opens comes to $30 in the cutoff, juicy calls on the button, and we look down at Queen Jack offsuit in the small blind. Normally, in a public game, I would just fold this hand, but given the dynamic on the stream, I just think my hand is good enough to 3-bet here, and I squeezed to $200. ATM and juicy call, so we're 3 ways to a flop of Jack 7 deuce with 2 diamonds. In a 3-bet pot, out of position, I am just checking my range. We check it over to ATM, who bets $300 into 621. Juicy folds, we got a decision to make. He can be betting with flush draws, some straight draws. Yes, we would sometimes lose to ace jack, king jack, but also I don't think his Jack 10 or Jack 9 is folding. So actually, I like to go all in here. About 1500 is effective. ATM calls. We agree to run it twice. First run out is a deuce of club on the turn and a king of club on the river. And the second run out is a 6 of diamonds on the turn and a jack of hearts on the river. We show our hand and it shows queen 7 of diamonds. He hit the flush on the second run out and we ended up chopping this pot up. Just finished the live stream game here at Champions Club, and today we're playing 1-3. It's a crazy game, very deep stack. People are sitting with 9k and 10k in a 1-3 game, can you imagine that? I think today we play a little bit better than last time. I'm getting used to the stream's dynamic, starting to give more actions and 3-betting lighter, and I really enjoy the game. And for that hand, I flat 9-6 suited on the button, play a little bit loser, and I got what I deserve, flush over flush. And for today, I lost $800 in 4 hours. Marco will put my total result here. Thank you, Marco. See you guys on the next session. So second session, we're playing 5, 10, 20 on stream at Champions. First hand, salmon open to $60 in the low jack. Bedrock calls on the cutoff, and we look down at ace 9 of diamonds in the small blind. Pretty hand to squeeze here, especially when we have the need button. I raise it up to $360. Salmon fold, bedrock calls, so we heads up the flop of, you know what, queen 10 7 monotone 3 diamonds. Look at that cutie pie. Normally in a 3-bet pot, I would just check my range, but on this monotone board, I don't think players overstep on this board. So I like to go a quarter pot, 225 into 800s. But unfortunately, as you guys see, he got ace 3 of clubs and he folds. Next hand here with limps on the low jack with ace 3 of diamonds. I'm not a fan of limping, but with the neat game going on, I think it's fine to have some limp range in early position. Coming Shizer to $105 in the hijack. Everybody else fold, we call. Heads up to a flop of Jack 8 deuce with 2 clubs. We check it over to him and he checks back. Turns an 8 of hearts. We check it again, but actually I see merit of betting here because what is his range when he check back the flop? Probably hands like ace king, ace queen, or some showdown value hands like pocket 7s, pocket 6s, pocket 9s. So it's pretty good to let those hands call once on the turn and then bluff them off on the river. But in game I check and he checks back again. River's a 7 of clubs. So I ask myself again, when he checks back the flop and checks back the turn, he must have some showdown value hands like ace king or ace queen. So how much would I bet if I have pocket 7s? Probably I'll go $200 targeting his ace high. So actually I size up here. I overbet to $400 into 245. He tanks. Come on, please fold. And eventually he finds the fold and he got ace queen offsuit. We get it through. Moving on to the next hand here, and we play this one terribly. Let's watch. Andrew opened to $75 in the hijack. Outlaw calls on the button, and we look down at 5-3 of clubs on the big blind. We call 3 ways to a flop of ace 7-3 with 2 clubs. We have a pair plus a flush draw. We check and it goes check through. Turns another ace of spades. We check again, and now Andrew bets $100 into 240. Outlaw folds, so what is his range? I think he would just bet his good ace-6 on the flop. So when he bet this turn, he can have hands like some weak ace-6, pocket kings, pocket queens, or some backdoor flush draws. And this is where I made the mistake. If I put in a raise here, what does our hand looks like? Yeah, it just looks so strong. We could be doing this with pocket 3s, pocket 7s, or even hands like ace 3 and ace 7. And let's say he has an ace, he can call a turn, but with the stack depth that we got, actually I think he is going to fold his a6 if we go all in on the river. But I missed that in game. I just put in a call, hoping to catch a club on the river. And river's a 6 of spades, completing the backdoor flush. We check it over and he bets $225. So the backdoor flush completes, his bluff on the turn gets there. Our hand should just be a fold here. I don't know, I'm just kind of stupid and sticky, and I put in the call. Bluff catching with a pair of 3s, and of course we see the bad news. He got pocket queens and we lose this one.
It's coaching time.
What are we doing on the river?
I missed 2 streets of check raising,
Yeah.
and then I don't know why I put in a call.
I mean, does this guy ever have a super strong hand? Like when he chooses this size on the check back the flop, chooses this size on the turn and this size on the river?
Never.
Like if he did hit a backdoor flush, what size does he go on the river?
At least 300,
If you rivered a backdoor flush here, what size would you check raise?
800, 900.
And why not all in?
Because I don't think a6 is calling. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got
So
me.
you ever run into a brick wall here?
No, I don't think so.
No. Check raise this river, man.
Yeah. How about check raising the
Check
turn? What do you think of that?
Check raising the turn's good too. You check raise, but if you got enough stack depth, I don't know how much stack depth you have.
got
Here,
a
but if
lot.
you have enough stack depth to, yeah, then check raise the turn small and then jam the river. You could get like ace jack or something like that to fold if you take that line.
Next hand here, full all the way to us, which is on the middle blind with king 8 offsuit. We call, and Cumish in the big blind makes it to $120. King high here, blind versus blind. Pretty good hand. Has up to a flop of 9-8 deuce, monotone, 3 spades. We check, and he bets $200 into 245. A pretty big bet, but I have a pair here. I'm still ahead of a6 with the ace of spades, king x with the king of spades, and which I think he's going to bluff it. So I put in a call and turns a deuce of diamonds. We check it over, and he checks back. Pretty good news for us because he didn't put in a second barrel. I think we are mostly ahead here, and the river's an ace of hearts. We check to him, and he bets $500 into 645. And at the tough spot, he could be bluffing this ace with his queen high, king high, jack high. But also, when he has a bluff, I think he will go bigger than $500. It just looks like a value bet to me, and I elect to fold here. And he got ace jack offsuit.
It's coaching time.
What's the best hand he has getting to this river?
Aces. No.
Aces.
Wait. Ace king. That's all.
Does he ever have a flush?
No, never.
Does he ever have a boat besides aces?
Nope.
After they have capped themselves, you can just check raise this river with impunity. Let's say you have pocket deuces, okay? What size would you check raise on this river with quads when he bets 500?
I don't even want to go for 1500, so I may go like 12 because I don't think he's strong.
So what should we do with king 8?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and I was just too zoomed in on, he hit his ace. Should I call here? And I didn't consider raising at all.
Why not?
I don't know.
You're really good at running the bluffs when you are the aggressor. You empty the clip, like you're not scared. I think one of the things I'm seeing is when you are not the aggressor, maybe you could turn up the bluffing frequency also.
RJ opened to $80 in the low jack. We call on the big blind with 9-3 of hearts. Has up to a flop of queen 9-3 monotone 3 diamonds. We check it over. He bets $40. It's a monotone flop. I don't want to raise my 2 pairs here, so we just call. Moving on to the turn, which comes a 10 of clubs. We check, and he overbets to $325. Wow, it's a big size, but this guy, he is absolutely capable of putting in a big bluff. I think my 2 pairs is still good here, so we call. And river's the worst card in deck, an ace of diamonds. We check, and he bets $2,000. Many of his bluffs get there on the river. We can't do nothing except folding. And he shows 7 deuce offsuit with the 7 of diamonds. Wow, that's my man. He plays 7 deals so well. Moving on to the next hand, we open to $75 in early position with pocket queens. Everybody else joining, so we have 5 ways to a flop of Jack 5-5 with 2 clubs. With that many players behind us, I am just checking my range. If they happens to bet small on this flop, I will put in a big check raise. But unfortunately, they all check it through. Turns another jack of hearts. We check, and they check again. River's a jack of diamonds. 2 blinds check to us. Now I would like to go for some value. Targeting pocket pairs like pocket 7s, pocket 6s, or pocket 8s. How much would I go to fold out pocket pairs? Probably pretty big because I check 2 streets, and those hands will just think I want to buy the pot. So I go $800, about a 2x pot size. But unfortunately, they got nothing and they all fold.
It's coaching time.
This turn here, I already see you shaking your head. You could tell me, you know.
They have no jacks. I should definitely bet on the turn.
The cutoff and the button check back. They're not gonna really have a jack. And then the middle blind and big blind check on the turn. Could someone have a jack some of the time and be trapping? Okay, 70-80% of the time, we have the best hand with queens. I don't think guys are gonna fold 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, like ace highs even, like if you choose the right size, right? Yeah, I just bet the turn.
So next hand here, bedrock opens to $65 in the low jack. We 3-bet to $250 in the cutoff with king 7 of clubs. And interestingly, ham in the big blind cold calls, bedrock folds, so we has up to a flop of queen 8-7 rainbow. He checks it over. Normally in a 3-bet pot in position, I am just range betting small, but against ham, I would love to check my medium strength hand here because I know he's going to bluff on the turn. So we check it back, turns a 3 of hearts, and ham bets $350 into 580. Our plan works, so I'm going to stick with it. We call, and river's a 9 of club. He checks it, we check it back with our showdown value, and he got jack 9 of diamonds. Although we got bid on the river, I still love my check on the flop because he does find the bluff on the turn. So next hand here, straddles on to $40. We limp in the early position with king queen offsuit. Commish raised to $150 in the low jack while ham calls on the button. We are coming along. 3 ways to a flop of queen 8-4 with 2 spades. We check and commish bet $250, about a half pot size. Ham calls, actions on us. If I could redo this, I would really love to put in a check raise because I think the strength of hands to put in more money is actually lower on stream games. But in game, I did just call 3 ways to a turn which comes a deuce of diamonds. We check it over and commish bet $1,000 into 1255. Ham calls. I think our hand is kind of squeamish here. I don't like that feel. Commish put in a very big bet and ham calls. In game, I just don't think our hand is good here and I made the fold. And river's an ace of heart, and commish moves all in about 3k effective. Ham folds, and commish shows 8-7 of hearts. He is just bluffing big with a pair of 8s. And ham has queen 5 of clubs. Wow, this is tough. But the thing we can learn from this hand is, on stream games, they are just splashing around. When we have a good hand like a top pair with a good kicker, we just can't fold that easily. In this hand, ham limps his UTG, salmon opens to 150 in early position, and we look down at king jack offsuit on the button. Salmon is opening so wide, so I like to 3-bet here. We make it to 450, and interestingly, ham cold calls and salmon fold, so we has up to a flop of 6-3 deuce rainbow. He checks it over. I bet $250 into 1k, and he calls. Turns a 7 of diamonds. He checks to us again. Actually, I think my king high has some showdown value here because I think he just floats too wide on the flop. So we check it back, planning to bluff catch on a blank river. And river's a 10 of diamonds. And now ham leads $800, about a half pot size bet. So what is his range? If he is bluffing with ace high, we are losing. And I just don't like this 10 because his 10x hit a pair, 9-8 gets there. Many of his hands that floated the flop just hit with this 10. The hands we are winning are probably just queen jack. So I make the fold and he shows 9-4 of clubs. Oh my god. I didn't ever think about this hand is in his cold calling range. Nice bluff, ham.
It's coaching time.
Let me ask on the flop, like, is this guy going to be check raising at an appropriate frequency as a bluff if you just c-bet your range?
Unless he had some high equity draws.
Yeah, so he's probably under check raising, so therefore we can just c-bet our range. Like, the range c-bet is good, right? On the turn, once he calls the flop, do you have showdown value?
I still think I do.
Against what?
Against Broadways like Queen Jack, 10-9, set.
You think those hands call a flop c-bet?
For that guy, I think he will float 2 overs.
Just any 2 overs with a backdoor?
Yeah, with backdoor.
Problem is, though, that if he's floating any 2 overs with a backdoor, he has like king, queen, ace 4, ace 5, ace 7. All these hands that like have us beat that are still weak, that are 100% gonna fold by the river. And so I think this is just one of those spots where like, if his range is as weak as you say, where he's just calling with too much pre-flop and calling too much on the flop, then bluffing is going to outperform taking showdown value of our hand. He just has so many weak hands that beat us right now. I would choose the big size on the turn, setting up the jam for the river. So either we have showdown value or we don't, right? Like, if you're telling me we have showdown value with king high, which in this hand we ended up having showdown value.
Come on,
Spoiler
the
alert.
10 is
Like,
so bad.
half pot, Tommy. If you think you have showdown value, we gotta call.
Next hand here, the straddle's on to $40. We open to $200 in the hijack with Jack 10 suited. RJ and Ham calls on the blind, so we're 3 ways to a flop of 10, 8, 3 monotone, 3 clubs. They check it over to us with a top pair on this monotone board. I would like to check versus these players because they are aggressive. If we bet and get check raised, our life sucks. But if we check it back, they are going to bluff on the turn. So I check it back, turns an 8 of hearts. RJ seems he knows what we are thinking. He lists $250. Ham gets out of the way. We stick to our plan. We call. Heads up to the river, which comes a jack of diamonds. And when he checks it over, I would like to value bet here, targeting 10x to call. This player is sticky. I don't think he would believe me if he has 10x. He would just think I'm bluffing with 1 clubs in my hand. So actually, I go big here. I bet $1,000. But unfortunately, he folds and he got ace 5 offsuit with the ace of clubs. Look, on the flop, if we c-bet, I think he's just going crazy with the nut blocker. So when I check back, I just make our lives easier by giving him rope. Big pot alert. In this hand, straddles on to $40. Outlaw raised to 125 in low jack. We look down at ace 4 suited on the button. We call. RJ come along in the big blind. And Ham 3-bet to 325 in the straddle. Outlaw calls. We are having a good price. We have the best position post flop. So we put in a call. RJ calls 2, so we're 4 ways to a flop of ace 10 6 rainbow. Check all the way to us. In this hand, we are playing with 2 very aggressive players. So remember what I did in the previous hand? Yeah, check back my medium strength hand. Why? Because they are going to bluff the turn. So I check back and turns a beautiful 4 of hearts. And now RJ leads $650, about a half pot size. Ham and Outlaw get out of the way, so we have a decision to make. Should we raise here? No, because I would love to give him rope. So we put in a call and rivers an ace of diamonds. We have a boat here. And now RJ moves all in for 1745 effective. Of course we snap it off and he has 5-4 offsuit. We win a huge pot. Big pot alert again. Straddles on to $40. We open to $200 in the cutoff with pocket 9s. And Andrew in the small blind 3-bet to $800. Straddle folds with a pocket pair here. We call. Heads up to a flop of 6-5-3 with 2 spades. He checks it over. So what is his range? I think on this kind of board, he is just range checking. So I would like to check it back and see how the turn develops. Turns a 6 of hearts, and now he bets half pot, $800. We have an overpair here, so I put in a call, rivers an ace of clubs, and he bets 1200s into 3270. So again, what is his range? Actually, I don't think he is betting the turn with his ace high, because what will that achieve? My pocket pass will not be folding on the turn, and maybe he just get me to fold hands like king high or queen high. So I think he could be bluffing with king queen or queen jack with this ace come on the river. So I like to put in a call, and we see the bad news. He has ace king of diamonds, and we lose a very big pot.
It's coaching time.
Let me ask you this straight up. When he check raises, what's his range going to be?
Over pairs and 2 first flush draws.
And do you think he's gonna check raise the ace X of spades or king X of spades at 100% frequency?
Not 100, like sometimes.
So we've got ace king of spades, ace queen of spades, ace jack of spades, ace 10 of spades.
Yeah.
And then we've got like king queen, king jack, queen jack, jack 10. You think he's check raising all those?
No, 60% of them, or 50.
And how often is he check raising over pairs?
I mean, a lot.
Yeah, okay. So if he's check raising 10s, jacks, queens, kings, aces, we're talking 30 combos of over pairs. Already, we were talking like less than 10 combos of flush draws. And if he's check raising 60%, that means he's check raising like 6 combos of flush draws and 30 combos of over pairs. So when he check raises, what is his range?
Valued.
Just bet here on this flop to deny equity and just fold because he's under
raise.
check raising. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I want to know your thoughts on this river.
Okay, so going back to the turn, I don't think he's betting with ace king, ace queen. So I think he's betting queen high, king high to fold out ace high.
Let me ask you this. What's the best hand he has on the river then? Tommy, if you had ace 6 suited here, what size would you raise to on this river?
3K.
Why would you not jam?
He's going to fold.
When they can't ever call you, punish them.
Alright, last hand on the stream games. The straddle's on to $40. Andrew opens to 125 in the low jack. Ham and bedrock call. We look down at jack 10 offsuit on the straddle and we call 4 ways to a flop of queen 10 5 rainbow. No one seems interested in the pot. Everybody checks and turns a 3 of spades. Bedrock checks. While they all check on the flop, I think no one has a queen. So I would like to value bet here, targeting flush draws and straight draws. I bet 250 into 525. Only ham calls and we're heads up to the river, which comes a queen of spades, completing the backdoor flush. So we check it to him and he checks back. We show our hand and we are good against a7 offsuit. Hey guys, just finished the Champions 5, 10, 20 stream game. Tonight the lineup is just wild and crazy. People are playing so aggressively with all sort of hands. I would say the dynamic of Texas stream games is just way different than the casinos or card rooms public hold'em game. So on stream we lost 2.5k and off stream we lost another 4k. We have the ace high flush and Phelan has the straight flush. So pretty much it. We're gonna move on, improve our game, and work hard, make the best decision in the coming sessions. Marco will put my total result here. Thank you, Marco. I hope you guys enjoy. On to the next one. Big pot alert. Alright, we are now in the third session and we're playing 2, 5, 10 on stream at TCH Houston. First hand here, Noah opened to $30, Jamie calls, and we look down at ace queen offsuit in the cutoff. We 3-bet to $200, and surprisingly, commission in the small blind cold 4-bet to $600. Noah and Jamie folds actions on us. He has a knee button. I've seen him 4-betting hands like ace 10, ace 4, ace 5. So normally I would just fold ace queen off here. But in this scenario, I think we are ahead sometimes. So I call heads up to a flop of 9-8-3 rainbow. He continues to bet $400 into $12.75. Although nothing's ongoing for us, no backdoor, I'm still ahead of his 4-bet bluffs, so I like to call one straight and see how the turn develops. We put in a call and turns a queen of clubs. We have the top pair now, and he bets $1,000, about a half pot size bet. We have the top pair, we ain't going anywhere, so we put in a call and reverse a 6 of spades. Now he checks it over. We got about $900 behind. The pot is now $4,000, so we put all the money in, but eventually he finds the fold and let's see what he got. He got ace 10 of diamonds. We were ahead all the way.
It's coaching time.
This one,
Just put the money in on the turn, right?
yeah, just put the money in on the turn. Even if he has air.
He got a call.
Can he fold for, yeah, he can't fold for another $900. Yeah, just put it in on the turn. We're not folding river ever, right?
Would he still be bluffing on the river? Actually not, because we are not folding. But if he happens to have a jack or a 10, he got a call on the turn.
If he's just monkey clicking with like pocket tens or something here, like, right, he could never fold.
Next hand here, Ryan limps under the gun. Noah opens to $70 in the low jack. We look down at king queen suited in the cutoff. Normally, it would just be a 3-bet, but in this scenario, I would like to invite Ryan's to the pot, so I call. And surprisingly, Comish 3-bet to $300 in the small blinds again. Ryan and Noah get out of the way. We have the position. We have a suited Broadway, so we're in there. Heads up to a flop of king 5 deuce with 2 spades. He continued to bet $250. We have the top pair here, so we call. Turns an ace of hearts. And now he continues to bet 700s into 1200s. And at this point, I think many of his bluffs get there, because I just think he will 3-bet many of his ace-X in the blinds. So I like to fold, and he got ace-queen offsuit. This hand is wild. Let me explain. Ryan limps in early position and we look down at my favorite queens on the button. We make it to $75 and interestingly, Ryan put in a limp raise to $175. So normally when a player limp raise, what do they got? In my mind, players are just limp raising with ace king, ace queen, aces, kings, those type of hands. So versus that strong of a range, I like to call in position to see how things develop. And we're heads up to a flop of queen jack 10 with 2 hearts. We have the top set here, but look at the board. Ace king is the nut here. And I think when player limp raise, they just got so many ace king in their range. So he continued to bet $150. I put in a call, and the turn is the worst card in deck, the ace of clubs. We're losing to any king X now. And Ryan continues to bet 275 into 667. Come on, I don't like this ace. But we still have a set. If we can hit a pairing river, that will be juicy. So we put in a call and river's a blank, a 4 of diamonds. And now he bets 1/3 pot, $400 into 1200s. Oh my god. Although we have set here, his size is just so valued. I just can't imagine that he is betting here with any other hands except from king X, a straight. So I like to fold our sets here, and it shows us jack 3 offsuit. What? Big pot alert. In this hand, Mo opened to $35 on the button, Noah 3-bet in the small blind for $150, and we look down at pocket 9s in the big blind. First, Mo must be opening wide on the button, and Noah knows this, and I think he would also 3-bet light in the small blind, so I like to put in a cold 4-bet to $400. Interestingly, Mo calls on the button, Noah come along as well, so we are 3 ways in a 4-bet pot. Flop comes ace 10 5 with 2 spades. Noah checks it over to us. When Mo calls the 4-bet on the button, I just think his range is so strong. He can have pocket aces, kings, ace king, queens, jacks. So on this board, I'm not going to see bet. We check and Mo checks back. Turns another ace of hearts. So when Mo checks back the flop, I don't think he has ace king or ace queen here. He could have under pairs like kings or queens, but I think he would also check back top set on the flop. So I like to check again, and Mo checks back too. River's a king of clubs. Noah checks it over, so I think Noah never has a strong hand here, but how about Mo? When he checks on the flop and the turn, I'm pretty confident that he got no ace, but the king arrives on the river. He also could be playing kings this way, but actually I think I missed a bluffing opportunity here. But in game, I missed the chance. I check it, and he checks it back. Noah got pocket 7s, and Mo wins the pot with pocket queens.
It's coaching time.
This is interesting. Walk me through what you're thinking here. Start with the flop.
The button's range is stronger than the small blind. Yeah, ace king, kings, pocket aces, queens. I can't bet here because he can have 10s, ace king, which is never folding. And I don't know what to do on the turn when I get caught.
What happens if you bet 10% pot?
I don't think he's raising his sets because he's in position. So he just put in a call. And what do we do on the turn?
What does he do with kings, queens, jacks if you bet 10% pot?
I mean, he called once.
He calls. And what's a small blind do after the button calls? Fold. Okay, so now your head's up. Let's say we check everything on the turn. What does the button do with ace king or pocket tens on the turn?
Yeah, he's starting to bet, and he's checking his
What
kings,
does he do
queens,
with
jacks?
So now we just have clarity. We know exactly what his range is, right? When we c-bet the flop 10% and then check the turn. And by c-betting the flop 10%, we keep the kings, queens, jacks in his range that we can just always bluff on the river.
Wow.
So like it's really nice to like this c-bet flop small, check turn, both with value and bluffs. Bluffs because when I check back turn, we can just choose the size on the river that folds queens, jacks. When we have tens and they check back on the turn, we just choose the size that kings call on the river.
Moving on to next hand here, fold all the way to Jamie in the middle blind, and he opened to $30. We look down at ace king offsuit in the big blind, and we 3-bet to 150. He calls, heads up to a flop of queen 9-5 with 2 hearts. He checks it over to us in a 3-bet pot in position. I am just starting by range betting small. I bet $100 into 300s. He calls, turns a 3 of diamonds. He checks it over, and what is his range? When he didn't raise the flop on a wet dynamic board, he just don't have any sets. So I would like to put in an overbet here, targeting his queen x to call once and fold out all his pocket pairs. And also, we have the ace of diamonds and king of hearts. I'll just bluff every flush completing river. So we bet $800 into 500s. He tanks and finally finds the fold with pocket sixes. We show our bluff because we need to get rid of the knee button. And remember this, he have seen our whole cards. He know we are capable of bluffing with big sizes. And I'm going to stay one more step ahead of him in the coming hands playing with him. In this hand, straddles on to $40. We call on the hijack with ace 4 suited. Fold all the way to Mo in the big blind, who makes it to $200. Straddle folds, we call, heads up in position to a flop which comes 9-7-4 with a couple of hearts. He continues to bet half pot $230. We have a pair in a heads up pot. I put in a call and turns a beautiful ace of clubs. We have a 2 pair now. And when he checks it over, what is his range? If he is c-betting a flop with hands like ace king, ace queen, when he hit the top pair on the turn, he is just not checking. So when he checks it to us, this turn card just downgraded his hands. He can have all the underpairs here, pocket queens, pocket jacks, pocket tens, pocket kings. I think betting small to target those underpairs or check it back is the good play. But in game, I made a blunder. I big bet $700 into 925. I don't like this size because he just doesn't have an ace when he checked the turn. So of course, he folds and he got pocket tens. Big pot alert. Alright, last hand of this session. We're playing a splash pot. That means $200 bonus out there. The straddle's on to $20. Noah limps in the low jack. And Jamie opens to $60 in the hijack. We look down at the worst hand in poker. Pocket aces in a splash pot. What a dream scenario. So we 3-bet to $300. Not much reason to small 3-bet here because it's a splash pot. People will just think I'm 3-betting so light to buy the pot now. Everybody else vote except Jamie, who puts in a call, and we are heads up to a flop of queen 6 deuce with 2 spades. He checks it over in a 3-bet pot in position. I'm starting by range betting small. I bet $300 into 857. He calls, turns a jack of clubs. He checks it over. The pot now is about 1400s. We got 1500s behind. So do you still remember the last hand that we played that we showed him the ace king bluff? With a pot size bet left, I just don't think he is folding any mate hand to us here, especially when I choose to go for all of it on the turn. He will just think we want to buy the pot now. So I think for his 1 pair type hand, shoving the turn right now is better than separate into 2 streets. So we move all in, 1555 effective. He tanks and tanks and tanks. Please call. We are bluffing Jamie. And finally, he puts in a call, rivers a 6 of clubs. We show our hand, and he has pocket 9s. And we take down the last pot of the day. Hey guys, wrapping up the last stream game that we played in Houston, and we win 3.3k in 5.5 hours. So overall, I don't think I did very good in the stream games. I got a lot to work on, such as I need to study more on the tendency of the players. I need to watch more past stream games on YouTube. And also in-game, I can 3-bet more, 4-bet lighter, bluff bigger, bluff catch more, and those dynamic in-stream games are just different from the public games. I would like to talk about the exact changes that I made in Texas to stay one step ahead. So let's talk about the Texas players. I think they're too loose pre-flop, they are aggressive post-flop. That means we can 3-bet more linearly. They open too wide, they are calling too wide. We want to dominate their calling range when we are in a 3-bet pot. And also because they are aggressive post-flop, when we have some thin value or showdown value, normally I would just range bet, but in Texas, actually I would check more because by checking, we are giving them rope to bluff in later streets. Because they are bluffing more, that means we need to bluff catch more. In general, when they choose a small size on a river, they are bluffing. When they choose a big size, they have value, right? But in Texas, I'm not so sure about that. They will find bluffs even when they're using bigger size. So I need to pay more attention on the table, find out which players is capable of putting in a big bluffs. And it's very interesting that the tendency of the players in different cities is just different. So these are the changes that I would make in Texas. I hope you guys enjoy. On to the next session. Big pot alert! Alright, last session in this episode. This episode's gonna be long, but I'm sure that it's interesting. So let's get into it. First hand here, EP and hijack limps, and button opens to $60. We look down at pocket aces in the middle blind, and we 3-bet to $300. EP and hijack get out of the way, button calls, heads up to a flop of King Jack 7 rainbow. Normally in a 3-bet pot, I would just check my range when I'm out of position, but in this configuration, we are playing against a pro. I don't think he oversteps in this board, and with the stack depth behind, we just don't need to check raise to get all the money in. So I bet 1/3 pot on the flop, $200, and button calls. Turns a 7 of diamonds. So what is his range when he called the flop? I think he could be calling the flop with draws like ace 10, ace queen, and jack x. So what if we bet? If we bet big, draws are gonna fold, king x is continuing, and jack x set under pairs are gonna fold too. What if we check? I think when we check, we're going to stack off with king x anyway. But another good thing that will happen is he may start bluffing with ace queen or ace 10. He may start bluffing with his draws. So actually I choose to check here, and he bets $800 into 1,000. We got about 2.8k behind. I don't think king x is folding if we check shove. He can have some combo draws like ace 10 of diamonds, ace queen of diamonds. So I put in check raise to 2.8k. He tanks and tanks and tanks, and eventually finds the fold. Second hand here, low jack opens to $30, small blind calls, and we look down at pocket aces again in the big blind with 3-bet to $250. And surprisingly, low jack put in a 4-bet to $600. Small blind folds, we got about 2,000 effective. When a player puts about 30% of their stack in pre-flop, I just don't think they're folding. So I go 5-bet all in, 1970 effective, but unfortunately, he snap folds. This player has 4-bet bluffs. I will just flat my strong hands versus his 4-bet, and also it may be good to create some 5-bet bluffs against him. Moving on to the next hand, we open to $50 in the hijack with ace queen of hearts. Big blind calls, heads up to a flop of ace king 7 with 2 spades. He checks it over in a single raise pot, ace high flop. My strategy is to overbet or check, and I overbet for $175 into 100. He calls, turns a king of diamonds. So when he checks it over, I would like to choose a bigger size set, and ace is calling and a king is raising. So I bet $200 into 457. He calls, rivers a 9 of spades, completing a front door flush. He checks it over. We lose to some monster draw like jack 10 of spades, queen jack of spades. But at the same time, I would like to squeeze out a little bit more value from weaker ace x. So I bet about half pot, $400 into 857. And the good news is he calls. We show our hand and we are good. Next hand here, we open to $50 in early position with 10-9 of clubs. Small blind and big blind calls, so we're 3 ways to a flop of king, jack, 5 with 2 clubs. They check it over in a multi-way pot in position. I am just betting my good hands and good draws. We have a flush draw here. I bet $50 into 155. Small blind check raise to 150. Big blind folds. We're having a good price. We have a combo draw, so we call. Has him to the turn, which comes a 6 of spades. He bets about half pot, $250. We put in a call, and the river is a king of spades. Now he continues to bet half pot. I think his check raising range on the flop is just 2 pairs or sets. We missed our draws, and we fold, and he shows us pocket 5s. In this hand, hijack limps. We ISO to $75 on the button with queen 8 suited. Hijack calls, heads up to a flop of queen 4-3 rainbow. He checks it over in a single raise pot in position. I'm just range betting small. I bet $75 into 167, and surprisingly he check raised to $300. So what is his range? When he limp call pre-flop, I think he has hands like pocket 3s, pocket 4s, and also this player is aggressive. I think he would also check raise with draws like 6-5, ace deuce, ace 5. So I'm not going to fold my top pair here right now. We call and turns a 7 of hearts, and now he moves all in for about $1,000 effective. Alright, 6-5 gets there. I don't think our hand is good here at the most of the time, so we just fold. Moving on to the next hand, low jack open to $30, button calls, and small blind put in a mean 3-bet to $60. We look down at my 2 queens in the big blind, and we 4-bet to $200. Technically, it's a 4-bet, but actually when he chooses this mini 3-bet size, I would just be 3-betting my normal 3-bet range here. And now low jack 4-bet to $550. Button and small blind fold. We have a very big pair. We are in there. Heads up to a flop of ace-6-3 with 2 diamonds. We check it over, and he bets $250. The size is small, but let's think, what is his 4-betting range? Even if he has 4-bet bluffs, I think those hands have an ace. Hands like ace-4 suited, ace-5 suited, and I just don't think players are capable of putting in a 4-bet bluff with king high. So I elect to fold. In the next hand, fold all the way to the middle blind who opened to $40. We are in the big blind with 6-3 of clubs. We call, heads up to a flop of jack 7-6 with 2 spades. He bets half pot, $40. We have a pair and a backdoor flush draw, so we put in a call, and the turn is an ace of clubs. He checks it over. We have the bottom pair plus a flush draw here. We check it back, and the river is a beautiful 8 of clubs. We hit the flush, and now he overbet. $180 into 162. So what is his range? When he chooses his big size, obviously he has a strong hand here. Hands like pocket 8, strikes like 10-9. So I put in a raise to $800. But unfortunately, he thinks for a while and he fold. I think my raising size is too big here. It's probably a good size to fold out sets and strikes here. If I could redo this, I would just raise to $500 to $600. Moving on to the next hand, hijack open to $30, and we look down at king queen offsuit on the button. We 3-bet to $100, hijack calls, heads up to a flop of queen 9-5 rainbow. He checks it over in a 3-bet pot in position. I'm just range betting small. I bet $70 into 215, and he calls. Turns another queen of spades. He checks. On this top card pairing board, I would like to bet small here because it would be a disaster if he's folding hands like 9x, pocket 10s, or jacks. And also, if he happens to have a queen, he would just put the money in for us. So I bet small, $125 into 355. He calls. River's a 6 of diamonds. When he checks, what is his range? When he didn't raise the turn, he just doesn't have a strong hand, but this player is sticky, so I would like to go bigger. If I want to fold out hands like pocket 10s here, I may need to go $800 versus this player. So I size down to $650. A small overbet, but unfortunately he folds. Alright, last hand of the session. In this hand, hijack opened to $40, cutoff calls, we look down at king queen offsuit in the big blind, and we squeeze it up to $250. Hijack folds, cutoff calls, heads up to a flop of 8-6-4 with 2 spades. We check, and it checks back. Turns a 7 of spades, completing a front door flush. So what is his range? I think on this kind of wet dynamic board, if he happens to have a flush draws, straight draws, he will start stabbing the flop. So when he checks it back, I'm sure that he got no flush here, and I overbet good for $700, targeting him to fold a one pair type hand right now. And also, if he calls once, we are going to get him off on the river. And surprisingly, he moves all in for 3k effective. Oh my god, what is happening? It just doesn't feel right because look at his range. I think 99% of the time he is dabbing his flush draws on the flop. So he just doesn't have a flush here, but he moves all in? But come on, we only have king high. Even if he's bluffing in this spot, if he has ace high, we are fucked. I really did tank for a while because I just don't think it makes sense. But at the end of the day, we just got king high. We can't even beat his bluffs if he has ace high. So eventually, I made the fold, and you're not going to believe this. He shows us a red king queen. What is going on? Good bluff. Nice hand. Hey guys, just finished my last session here at TCH Houston. And this session we're at $440 in 6 hours. And Marco will put my total result here. Thank you, Marco. I hope you guys enjoy. And next, we are going to Austin. I'll see you guys there.